advancement as we know, if they're out there, then where are they? Like, they ought to be here. There ought to be a lot of them here. They ought to have visited us multiple times, and my feet are screwing up, so I'm going to stand up and be mobile. It's probably to my own detriment. If I can get my leg back.
Can you please face down a little bit? You're kind of in front of the screen.
Oh.
Yeah, you're a little bit in front of the screen.
Thank you.
How's that? Come on, leg.
Yes.
There we go. Got my leg back. Anyways, so their consensus was that, well, they ought to be somewhere. They should be somewhere. Maybe we're just not important. Maybe we're just really far away. Like maybe they called it in the sticks. Maybe we're just really rural. And they kind of just came to that conclusion that maybe we're just in the distance somewhere in galactic civilization, and we probably don't matter all that much. But they've probably been here, and yeah, whatever. But that was just a conversation over lunch in 1950. And largely, it was kind of left at that. In fact, believe it or not, the popularization of the Fermi paradox is kind of credited to Carl Sagan. So he wrote it as a footnote in one of his papers, and then later in a book that he published with a fellow physicist. And essentially, it kind of re-asked the question. Like, people read it and were like, well, where is everybody? They ought to be here. They should be here, right? They thought about it, and suddenly you have a spur in this, post-war imagination of science fiction. After seeing the horrors of war, of World War II especially, how can science be our salvation? How can the future of aliens and everything, well, they must be so advanced. They must be so crazy and cool. And suddenly you have these cool ideas. You have people coming out of the woodwork. So you have a Soviet astronaut, Nikolai Kardashev, who made his popular Kardashev scale. It's essentially if aliens that are advanced and intelligent are out there, then how do you really rank their how technologically savvy they are? And Kardashev thought that you do that by how well they can actually adapt to the energy around them, like how best they can harness it. So like a Kardashev 1 civilization would be able to use all of the work and energy output of their planet. Kardashev 2 would be that of their sun. And Kardashev 3, maybe even of their galaxy. And, there's been speculation. He only went to 3, but there's speculation that maybe there's a Kardashev 4 that can do everything in the supercluster, or everything in who knows what else is out there, everything in the universe. Maybe if multiverse theory is right, maybe there's an alien civilization out there that has complete control energy output of that whole little mini universe. Kind of a mind freak, but we'll stay on topic. And then you have other fellow physicists get involved. Very popularly, Freeman Dyson, an author, very, very well-spoken, very, very interesting physicist, came up with the idea of maybe they have a set of satellites around it, or maybe they've encapsulated it completely and created a Dyson sphere, as it's called. It's taking all of the energy output from a star and harnessing it for a civilization to use. Ironically enough, I bring up Project Orion. So there was a method known as Helios that existed. They were talking about how do we get to the stars even faster. And before all of the different laws to try to prevent nuclear proliferation, they had considered using nukes, like nuclear bombs, as propulsion. And so he was a little bit behind that project. You also have other physicists like John von Neumann, who very famous. John von Neumann is also an incredibly storied physicist that is most well known to us for coming up with the idea of self-replicating machines. I mean, in a lot of ways, that's what us biological things are. We constantly make copies of ourselves based off what's there. And so he came up with the idea, well, why not just make machines that are like that? Maybe you can make them as probes that go out and survey the universe, or are used to interact with others. that also created ideas like the Grey Goo hypothesis, which we'll get to. But yeah, in general, you would expect to see things like that with these advanced civilizations around. You would see their artifacts. You would see things like a Dyson sphere, and maybe of a Kardashev 2 or above, you would see other things as well. You have the search for extraterrestrial intelligence kind of happening in its early stages around this time. It didn't really come into effect until the 80s, until they got started using the Arecibo telescope. But yeah, it was kind of a wild time. It was a wild west of fiction and a wild west of science fiction and of science. And so they did what they could to try to answer this question through their narratives, through their fiction, through their writings, and their hypotheses. In some ways, it also kind of caused a little pushback as things go. Do we really need to be focusing on this? Why wouldn't you get out of your book? Like, oh my God, do you see aliens? No, please leave this alone. And so there's also a lot of pushback to SETI, and it often struggled to get funding over the years. But still, it persisted. They would look back at this point, I would say in the 70s and the 80s, they would look back and say, hey, okay, well, let's think about what they talked about during that lunch, right? They must have come up with a formula on what must be here, right? So what must be here? It's kind of hard to do the math, but we've had people that have tried. And so one said person that's tried that's very famous is Frank Drake. Believe it or not, Frank Drake actually did an Ask Me Anything a decade ago, or about a decade ago, talking about his famous Drake equation. And essentially what this is trying to take all of these unknown variables of like where intelligent life may be and kind of like chunking it into something that you can then pre-fill as you learn. And so these variables kind of include like, well, if in, and those who will be looking at presentations from me and several others in the future, N is usually just a general term for like your study population or the population of interest.
Printing
all
it
of the other
differently.
variables, don't worry. As far as their actual, like, why are their letters like that? I don't know. Scientists do stuff like this sometimes, and it can get confusing. But thinking about like, the rate of star formation, and the fraction of those stars that have planets, and the fraction of those planets that have life or are suitable for life, and then maybe the fraction of those planets that actually do have life, and then the very fraction of the planets that do have life that then have intelligent life, and then the very fraction of the planets that have intelligent life that then are able to create like space-faring cultures and communities.
Put this one up here.
And then, of course, just the length of time that everything's been existing for. And so, what would you expect? That, well, it can't be that bad, right? Well, it's somewhere from, I would say, about 50 million civilizations to less than one. That's a pretty wide margin. So, the way I look at it is it's a sampling bias, right? We don't truly know these variables. So let's say you had a bag, and intelligent life is a red marble, and everything else is white marbles. And that bag currently has 4 white marbles and 1 red marble. You pull it out, and you feel pretty lucky. Hey, look at that. But let's say you have another bag over here that has 500 million white marbles and 1 red marble. And you pull it out just first time, and it's a red marble. Well, that's pretty good. But there's a big discrepancy. One is pretty good. The other one is like nigh impossible. The other one is kind of outrageous that you were able to get something like that. And so we just simply don't know the information. And so the hope is that the more we observe our universe, the more that we look, the better we'll hopefully be able to fill these things out. In that AMA, Drake mentioned that hopefully we'll be able to fill a lot of them out. There's a question on like whether or not, we can really figure out like the FI one, which is when intelligent life emerges. It's complicated. But the hope is, again, the more we learn, the more we can then solve this equation. And so that then leads us to, well, how would we find them? So space is big. As Douglas Adams said, it's really big. Really unbelievably big. I don't think you understand just how big space is. It's wild. space is so big that literally the speed of light, the fastest anything that we know can go, we measure it by the speed of light, like how long it takes light to get places in light seconds or light years or whatever. And so if we're going to talk to anybody, we probably need to use light. So that leaves us to what the photon can do on the electromagnetic spectrum. So think about like radio waves and X-rays and gamma rays and you name it. But again, that's us sending a message out there, or them sending a message to us. Maybe we can actually see how they affect the stellar stuff around them. Maybe they will be in front of a star, or maybe they do make something like a Dyson sphere, and we can see how it obscures that star. Like, it didn't do that otherwise. I mean, largely in astronomy, that's how we figure out that there are exoplanets, is we'll look at a star really heavily and then see that there is a difference in the light that it emits. And if it's regular enough, you'd be like, I bet there's something in front of it. Now, of course, as physicians will say, zebras are horses before zebras, right? So probably an exoplanet. It's probably not a Dyson sphere. Probably not obscuring it on purpose, but it is a question. And then again, you have those von Neumann probes, or maybe it's like a 3-eye atlas situation, and maybe they're just kind of hurling interstellar objects at us, so they'll get our attention, and then maybe we'll be like, oh, where did that come from? Or, you know, at least for fiction, the one that we're most interested in is if they just kind of show up and say hi. That would be really nice. That's a good way to prove they exist. But, you know, the whole concept of aliens really isn't new. I mean, it's all over our fiction. Again, we continue to write about it. Even before the Fermi paradox was posed,
Avatar.
that one sweltering New Mexico afternoon in the 50s, you know, Jules Verne's asked it. People have asked it throughout time, these sort of celestial beings beyond we that might be our doom or salvation, right? But I guess at this point, it's important that we just go ahead and address it. Address the Fermi paradox. So if life is so abundant in the universe, if we really aren't special at all, then where are they? And there's a lot of different ways that we can break this out. I'll first start with the most obvious answer, and then I'll go to sort of answering the speculations directly afterward. But the most common answer, yes, Squid?
I just want to mention that we actually have found something that is faster than light.
Oh yeah, what's that?
The speed of darkness.
I laugh, but it is technically true. So I guess the speed of the absence of light is something to think about, right? There have been lots of experiments that have been done about this, looking at like a laser against the moon and lots of other different things. But yeah, it is true. So again, this is one of the things about science that's incredibly important. And this is why, you know, I'm open to be here and not trying to just teach. I'm not trying to teach because honestly, this is some of it's common knowledge, but some of it's not, is to empower you, empower all of you to do research, be a citizen scientist. It's important. There's so much that you can do. You don't have to have a degree. You don't have to have a whole bunch of letters at the end of your name or go to a fancy school. You just have to be curious. What's up, Sam?
Does it matter that the speed of
Okay.
the darkness or whatever, or is it just a trick and we are still limited by the speed of relativity, which is practically the speed of light in vacuum?
It's a good question. I mean, if you think about it, it is kind of hard for us to know. And one thing that I will go over as we start going through the answers to the Fermi paradox is that science is ongoing. I mean, while we think of this largely arguments from the 50s that seem solved, they're really not, honestly. All of this discussion happens even today. One of the famous hypotheses we'll talk about, the dark forest hypothesis, literally came out of like a Chinese novel that got famous. And so that's pretty recent. It's a very interesting series for those who haven't read it. There are translations of it. But so it's hard to know. It's hard to say that maybe we aren't bound. But right now we think that we're purely bound by the speed of light, but that's just for what we know. A lot of what I will be talking about today is a collapsed version of this kind of knowledge. Obviously, I don't want to be over here teaching physics. I don't want to be over here trying to force education on you in any way. Instead of just spur imagination. I think it's important. So one of the biggest answers to the Fermi paradox is known as the great filter, or great filters, as we'll call it. The idea that maybe life isn't precious or life isn't even that rare, but the things to get to us are incredibly rare, like are at least run into a lot of hardships. And so we'll talk about those hardships. So we'll talk about it first on a planetary scale. So to get where we are right now, the universe, as far as we understand, is 13.8 billion years old. And so, boom, you have the Big Bang, as far as we know. And then suddenly things heat up. The fundamental atoms and matter kind of coalesces over millions of years. And then they turn into the first stars. And then those first stars explode, making space dust. And then explode, making even crazier space dust, as Bill Wirtz would say. So suddenly you have carbon and you have all these complex molecules due to fusion that are happening in those stars that then, again, we're all carbon based. You don't have carbon. The space dust isn't doing it by itself. Got to get made somehow in these massive stellar furnaces as they explode and inject themselves out. Ironically enough, we consider the star that we're around right now, our sun, a type 1 star, or a population 1 star, excuse me. There are other type stars that are mainly letters. A population 1 star, which makes you think that maybe it's the first one. No, for some reason, scientists just said, oh, we know that one, so that's one. But then population 2 would be the ones that came before that, and then population 3 would be the ones that came before that. And if there were protostars before that, then we don't know. But it's kind of wild. But so after that, space dust forms, and then another cool, crazy star that we live around forms. Then that star has to make planets, which is all that dust that didn't become a star kind of collapses into itself and hardens into these rocky and somewhat not rocky structures that become planets. And then that planet has to sit nicely in its little habitable zone where liquid water can exist consistently. There's actually a theory that there's a habitable zone to the galaxy itself. Like maybe where you are in the galaxy matters a lot. Maybe if you're too close to the galactic center, you're going to get absolutely destroyed by gamma ray bursts every time a star explodes. And that's kind of crazy. That's a somewhat newer theory. And so again, to answer Sam's question, this is science that's constantly evolving. So whenever you see this, none of this is solved. All of this is just theories. All of this is just hope that maybe we can understand a little bit of it. But that's all the planetary stuff that has to happen. And then something more familiar to me is the biological factors. So let's take Earth, for example. So in the age of the Earth, like right after late heavy bombardment, suddenly you have all that coalescing stuff as the sun forms, and then the planets kind of form around them. And then if the Theia hypothesis is true and the moon kind of forms and slams into the Earth, all of that kind of happens. And then, believe it or not, life actually happens pretty quickly after that. It's kind of wild considering the age of the universe. It's pretty quick. I'm still a little shocked that you have these organic molecules that then kind of structure themselves into RNA that replicate, and then the RNA makes these little ribosomes that then make other stuff, and then that's got to get stored somewhere, and they find a cell to kind of hide into, and then suddenly you've got a cell, and then you have life, and then you have single cellular organisms. It's insane. But all of that happened over a pretty long period of time, over 2 billion years. The Earth is, in a cosmic sense, not that old. And 4 billion-ish years old. And 2 billions of that were basically just kind of water stagnating with a lot of organic molecules in it, falling from space. If you recall from our lore presentation previously, a lot of those rocks have these sort of prebiotic chemicals in them already, which is fascinating. But again, over that period of time, slowly they settle. Life begins to form. Multicellular life begins to form. You have eukaryotes, where maybe they, finally formed a system where this set of single-celled organisms kind of work with this one, and then they live really close, and the endocytose. That's a nice way to say vor. But they kind of consume each other, and they're kind of like living in a mutual environment. You have the sexual revolution that happens, where now they're not just like producing asexually anymore. They are kind of recreating the genome constantly through a new kind of replication. And then you have, and that, by the way, takes about 1 billion years to do. And then you have, well, the complex life we think of, just before the Cambrian explosion and onward, which is just about to here is really about 500 million years, which just really doesn't feel that long in the grand scale of what we're talking about. And so that has to happen. And then not only does that have to happen, but then the animals that are there have to learn how to use tools and have to communicate and write, do complex math, be curious about the stars above them, and figure out how to use these basic building blocks of physics, like photons and electrons and whatnot, to communicate. And then they have to finally go to the stars themselves. That's a lot. Apparently my presentation doesn't want to. There we go. Boop. Boop. Cool. That's a lot. That's a lot of things that need to happen. And if any one of those fail to happen, then you don't get intelligent spacefaring life. Like, that's just to get to us. And so one of the things about Snow, what's up?
About this, about the Kardashev scale, if biological life evolves to sort of prioritize energy efficiency, why would the Kardashev scale be the means of scaling a technologically advanced civilization? What would it look like if a civilization was scaling based on energy efficiency rather than energy generation?
That's a good point. So, for those who couldn't hear Snow, why does the Kardashev scale looking at the use of energy itself, how these extraterrestrials are using the energy instead of things like energy efficiency, the ability to best use it? I guess the idea is that things like Dyson spheres and like that would be highly efficient. But again, the Kardashev scale, to my knowledge, came from the very early 60s. It was actually one of the first theories. Carl Sagan wrote his little thing, and then Nikolai Kardashev basically was right behind him as an astronaut, writing what he knows. And again, so while we have a lot of old terminology for this stuff, again, things are being written constantly about this. So we just tend to use what we know best. That's kind of one of the issues with science in general is once you set a standard, it's really hard to get rid of that standard until you find something that can supersede it. And so when we're talking speculatively, it's kind of hard to create another scale when we don't have an n of anything. We have an n of 0 on the Kardashev scale, honestly. It's more of just theoretical. But it's a good question. I do think there should be an efficiency kind of thing. Speaking of which, so this is all in the context of the Great Filter. So we had to overcome all of that and I keep touching my slides, sorry. All of that. We had to overcome absolutely all of that to get to where we are. So it can be almost chauvinistic of ourselves to say, oh, we made it. We're here. That's cool. We're going to live a nice long life. Unless, of course, the Great Filter is ahead of us. Maybe it's pretty typical for intelligent life to get here, for intelligent life to proceed this far. But maybe there's a struggle in front of us that we just don't see yet, or that we're not willing to accept is there. Things like our own self-destruction, Carl Sagan was very outspoken about non-nuclear proliferation. A lot of the people from the Manhattan Project, after creating the bomb, felt the same way too. It could be something like I have the Geth from Mass Effect. Like maybe we create intelligent AI that supersedes us and destroys us. Maybe we create ecocide and we're not paying attention to our environment, our beautiful Earth, and we mistreat it. And things accelerate without us and causing an effect that we can't stop. Maybe, as I had mentioned before, with that sort of habitable zone of the galaxy, maybe gamma ray bursts happen all the time, and maybe they just kind of will wipe out these advanced civilizations. But I'll get to that here in a second. Or maybe it's something much more, less sort of dire, less sort of like nebulous in the future. Maybe it's just we really struggled to kind of grow anything on other planets. Maybe we are just kind of stuck on Earth. Maybe we have some kind of disinterest in moving forward. Maybe scientific advocacy after reaching a point kind of disappears. Estella.
Isn't it also isn't one of the possibilities that we are that our section of the universe is a dark or more empty area, so it's harder to traverse? I think.
Yeah. So I'll go over it once I get out of the Great Filter and go to answering the questions themselves. Because I start with the Great Filter just because it kind of applies to everything. Like, why isn't things there? Period. But then I try to answer the questions a little bit more pointedly. But yes, I will go over that. That maybe it is just the Milky Way is really hard to traverse. So maybe we give up on advocacy and just kind of, fall on our laurels. Dark ages do happen, and maybe sometimes you don't get out of them. Or maybe we're just kind of overworked to death. I feel that way a lot. And maybe we just kind of, give up. It's very possible. But let's have hope that that doesn't happen. So, Melody, to answer your question, I will go to the actual posited answers first.
Yeah,
I have them numbered. So
I got a question.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
what's up, Reaper?
You know, like how some people say, like whenever they first landed on the moon, they heard it like do like a ringing sound, like it was hollow. What is it about that?
So yeah, I mean, this is something that I'll cover later, but largely we ask these questions. We look out into the universe and are wanting for response. But largely like extrasolar. We don't even know if we have a good idea of if there is life in our solar system. We have a mission currently going to Europa, looking at, hoping to see the water ice that's speculated to be under Europa that may actually have life. That would be wild. We don't have proof of life outside of this planet. So being able to see something like that would be wild. We know that Mars had water on it at one point. We're all but probably months away from proof that there was life on Mars, which is just wild. But until we get there, we won't know. Yes, Melody.
Talking about the life on Mars, I think there was a NASA article released about particular mineral deposits that they couldn't find any other source for other than biological mechanisms.
Yeah, no, this is very true. So in general, when you're doing things like science, it's important to always look. So it used to be just following the scientific method. And if you follow the scientific method, that's enough. But we've become more rigorous over time. Now we do what's called looking like we do the scientific method, yes. But also after that, we look for the null hypothesis first. So prove me wrong that's how we do research. We're doing our research and expect it to be absolutely wrong, because it's really easy to walk in with these sort of presuppositions that, see, found it right there. Gotcha. See, it's aliens. Aliens, it's all it took. But if you walk in with the null hypothesis and say, well, actually, it could be this. Actually, it could be this or this. Maybe we should look at that first before we just say flatly aliens, right? And so, yeah, that is kind of the good part of doing all of this, is you always want to be a skeptic. You always want to keep a skeptical mind when you do stuff, and that way when you are proven right, you know that you're right, or within reason, you know that you're right. But let's get to those answers. So, first answer that probably has crossed your mind is that they're just not there. It's a little bit of a harrowing answer for enthusiasts of science, for Spurbs and Raptors, that we're it. It's almost devastating in a way. The image behind me is from Voyager 1 in 1990. It turned around and did a series of pictures of the solar system that it had just left, a family portrait, as they called it, and of the sort of zoomed in section on the right is Venus. In that zoomed in section, you can't even see; it's so small. In that little sunbeam, I think the more yellowy one is Earth. You can't even see it. That's it. We're so far away. That's less than a light day away. And that's kind of wild. So the first answer is that Earth is just really rare. Like extremely rare. Like maybe the great filter is behind us and it just is just so remarkably impossible to get to where we are. Is it multicellular life? Is it prebiotic life and life itself? I would argue probably not, but we don't know that. But maybe it's just really difficult for us to exist. And we're really lucky. We're really lucky. Maybe we're just the first. Again, everything that happened on Earth happened in a relatively small time span, like, yeah, a billion of years, but, considering the expected age of the universe, it's pretty quick. So maybe maybe we're first. And maybe we're not. Maybe we're just it. Maybe we're all there is. Some people would look at that answer and be deeply concerned. There is something lovingly known as the anthropic principle, that maybe we have to exist for the universe to exist at all. If a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, does it really make a sound? If the universe exists and there's no one to experience it, is it even there? So maybe by the force of it existing at all, there has to be an observer. It does cause a little bit of anthropocentrism, like maybe we are made here by a divine creator. I'm not here to speculate on religion. You're welcome to believe whatever you'd like to believe. I think a mixture of answers are always appropriate, and it's always good to leave everything out on the counter when you're thinking of possible solutions to stuff. But maybe for the brainiacs out there, the billionaires that are so consumed with us living in a simulation, that almost feels appropriate then. Maybe the universe has to exist because it is made for us. We made it. It's our simulation. We're enjoying it. Yeah, of course it's for us. There's no aliens out there. It's just us. But that's more of the harrowing idea. One of the sort of, less harrowing ideas is maybe, we just missed them. They were right there. No, I just missed them. Shit. I should have yelled louder. Damn. But it is possible that maybe they either are there or were there, and we just weren't there to say anything to them. To that galactic habitability argument, maybe there is something like these massive gamma ray bursts that kind of happen all at once and sort of cleanse the galaxy, or that would be the galaxy, but cleanse life from the galaxy in general, and just there was something there, but it's not there anymore. I just missed them. Sorry. They had their shot and they couldn't get out of the way. I think of science fiction, and then you have things like the Flood from Halo that are literally there to destroy sentient life, or the Reapers from Mass Effect that come around every 50,000 years to harvest whatever kind of life there is. But with that, you would expect to see some amount of ruins, right? They've got to leave something behind. But we arguably have not traveled that far. So maybe we just haven't hit those ruins yet. Or it's also possible that they are just elsewhere. Maybe they've figured out that moving outward in the space just doesn't really work. And so they didn't even think about it, or they thought about it for a little bit and moved on to like maybe other dimensions or maybe time. I don't know. There's lots of ideas out there. What's up, Snow?
Bit of a big question. How do we know that if there was a technologically advanced civilization like out there, how do we know that we would even be able to recognize their structures? Like if we're looking for
You're getting
Dyson
ahead of
spheres
me,
and
but
things
yes.
like that,
You're very true. So Snow asked, well, how would we even be able to identify the aliens if they were there? Like, what if they're just so crazy advanced? So it's a big question. And so at least here, you know, what if they're maybe nomadic? Like maybe they just, you know, the universe is really big and they've moved on. They were here for a little bit and now they're over there now. We just missed them. Sorry. There's also a question of atavism. So maybe they were advanced for a while, but just like we looked at that picture of Idiocracy, maybe they just kind of moved on to other things and kind of gave up. And they were interested in space for a while, but it wasn't really helping them at all. So they just, don't really do that anymore. Or maybe we are just, again, in the sticks. Maybe we are just out in the middle of nowhere and they're not here. And then
what
sort
would
of towards your
an
question,
advanced
Snow.
technology.
Yes. Maybe we just can't see them. Or maybe we're just flatly not looking hard enough. And so, as I had mentioned with Douglas Adams, the universe is big. It's really big. Like, really, really big. Like, you can fit all of the planets in the solar system between the distance of the Earth and the Moon. It's that big. Most of it is space. It's almost like atoms. Most of it is just space. So it's a little bit, disheartening to see, but this bubble that we see right here is, we've been transmitting radio waves for largely 100 years. This is as far as those radio waves have gone. You can't even really see it on there. That's the Milky Way galaxy as we predicted. It's not very far. So they probably haven't heard us. Again, one of the cool things of light is the starlight that comes to us is very old. It had to go past these vast swaths to the predicted speed of light in vacuum to get to us. And so we can kind of figure out about how long ago that was. So it's cool. It is cool in some ways that maybe they are just many, 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 many light years away. And even if we did find them, I don't know, we could talk to them. Like we could try to send a message and hopefully they're still there, but maybe not. They're just too damn far away. It's kind of sad. But there's another question to ask is, despite all this curiosity, you would expect us to be quite loud in doing this. There's this idea of loud and quiet aliens, or often termed quiet and grabby aliens. Like expansionists, they're very loud. They make a lot of noise, but you would think that we would be, but we haven't even really left our rock. We did some stuff like a couple of days ago, but that was after like 30 years of doing nothing. So we're not loud. We're pretty damn quiet. Even if they were looking for us, I don't even know they could find us. Maybe we're not that loud, and maybe they're just not listening. And that's probably part of it too. And even if they were listening and we were loud enough to detect, again, we've only been broadcasting for like 100 years and light can only go so far. And so when you get cool things like the WOW signal, maybe it's just not enough. And it's just not enough time. Space is just too big. It's too damn big. But to ask Snow's question here, well, what if they just simply aren't really that visible? Maybe they're under the waters of Europa. Maybe they are under an icy moon or on an icy moon themselves. Maybe they are subterranean.
Stone.
And rocket stone. Maybe they're subterranean bugs, and we just can't talk to them because there's a big old earth or a big old rock in the way.
Stone?
Yes, it's maybe they're extra dimensional. Maybe again, I always bring this up, but we only know so much, so it's always something to ask. And then flatly, to your point, Snow, maybe we just flatly can't understand them. You know, we think of like sonic communication or like seeing what we know, and we expect that, you know, we would be able to detect them. But maybe not. Maybe we are pretty novel in the way that we talk, and maybe simply we can't detect their communication. Maybe we have, and we just don't even realize it yet. Maybe they just simply talk way too fast, and it's just garbled noise that we consider as just background noise. Or maybe they talk so ungodly slow that we would have to take like massive recordings and then just kind of compress it to even get anything detectable. It's always a question, but to the more popular theories, what if they're actually hiding on purpose? So this encompasses actually quite a number, but we'll start with the happier one first, the zoo hypothesis. You know, maybe they are just, you know, they know Earth exists and they haven't contacted us before, and you know, like Star Trek has like a prime directive kind of situation where, you know, let them get their own stuff out of the way, and then once they're ready and they have the correct technology to talk to us, they'll talk to us. But before then, just don't bother them. You know, they're working through their stuff. So maybe that's it. And maybe contacting, you know, these sort of like non-contacted species can have a detrimental effect. You could accidentally uplift them in a time where they're in turmoil. You can think of it in a more colonialist perspective, where maybe you become fostered for exploitation. You are just rife for this massive civilization to come in and use you as a resource of whatever kind, whether it's going to be, you know, we do it, unfortunately, in our own world, where, you know, I think the majority of us are happy to be here, but a lot of us aren't here. A lot of us are kind of used for our labor and used for the resources around us by those often more powerful than us. And who's to say that people who are much more technologically savvy, that wouldn't happen? Or, again, maybe we are just really novel in some way. And so it's best to leave us alone because they're really interested in us. And then you have the dark forest hypothesis. And this is by far probably the most popular. It's definitely the most rife for writing fiction. Is that everybody's quiet because it's dark and dangerous out there. We are crying babies in a dark wood. We don't know that we don't want them to talk to us. Stephen Hawking was somewhat obsessed with this. He said the first thing we need to do is get off of our planet. Maybe more towards the ecocide stuff, but also in the idea that if we did run into them, if they could get to us, that would require them to be so much more advanced than us. And if we know anything about sudden colonial settlers coming to a location, doesn't typically work out too well for the native population. They tend to not kind of exist that often, or the existence that they do have, it's not very happy. And so who's to say that then that advanced technology, it just kind of it destroys who we are? Maybe we'll become like the Combine and kind of like shoved into whatever there is. Maybe for those who've seen All Tomorrows, maybe we're getting molded into something kind of terrible shapes. It's rife for hypotheses, and this largely falls into, like, you know, the Terminids for Helldivers, or there's lots of fiction that covers this. But we'll talk about something a little bit more fun, and that's the fact that they're here. The aliens have been here the whole time. You think I'm wondering where the Fermi paradox is? Actually, I've been lying this whole damn time. They are here, baby. They're here. Let's see them aliens. Let's go to Area 51 where I know they're hiding them. They gotta be hiding them. See if we Naruto run faster. Well, they can't stop us, right? So around the time that the Roswell incident happens, ufology increases. What's up, Squid? Are you asking a question?
Just to add to that, they could also already be among us, and we just don't realize because they're disguising themselves.
That's true. So I think very strongly of Men in Black. That may, or SCP, as Frost talked about it earlier. Maybe they're here, and we've had to have our memories wiped, or maybe, you know, the governments are, you know, enjoying the advanced technology that they have, and they're jealously guarding it and not giving it to the big populace. And throw conspiracy theory here, which conspiracies sometimes are true. I mean, like a couple of years ago, there's a whole bunch of disclosures about extra. I guess they don't really call them UFOs anymore. It's unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs. There was a big old. There were a couple of presentations to Congress about this, about what they wanted to de-identify. Like we've seen what hopefully are just weather balloons, but we don't know. Objects that they can't identify. They all tend to be grainy. They all tend to be hard to see. I think that is just kind of the nature of this. But they're out here abducting us and probing us. Don't believe the lies. No. I largely think this one's probably not true, but again, I don't know.
Just going by to say hi while I'm still on.
What might be more true is they're just kind of minding their own business. They've got better things to do. They're exploring the world differently, just like we do. We go into internal ways, and like Ryujin here is doing, they're exploring inward. They have found virtual spaces that they occupy, and maybe they're just not interested in talking to us at all. They've got other pressing matters. They're trying to exist, man. We're trying to exist. Leave it as it is. Again, we may just not be that interesting, or maybe we are in the weeds. We're just in the sticks, and we're not in an interesting place. Or there's also a question that maybe expansionism is just really unusual. Maybe space is really hard to travel through. Like I think of District 9. Like, the aliens got here, but they barely got here. And when they got here, they were kind of screwed up anyways. I know that was mainly talking about apartheid, but again, it still stands that it's an interesting point that maybe even if they got here, it would cost so much to them, and it's probably just not economical. Like, it just takes such vast distances and whatnot. Also, if there is a galactic civilization and gigantic community out there, they're probably kind of against that. Like, you have these native lives that are just trying to thrive and be their own. So who's to say that you got to give them that chance, man? Leave them out alone. I mean, up until recently, I think the world had agreed that colonialism was bad. Hopefully we remember that again, but who's to say that aliens aren't doing that as well? There's also another question of estivation. So this would be like high on the Kardashev scale, like really high, that they got a star that they're getting all the energy from, and now they're just going to wait. Move. Where'd my mic go? My mic.
I think it's above you. I think it's right above you.
It's above you.
It's right above you.
It's above you.
There it is.
Not it's above.
It's right there.
Got you. Sorry. I was estivating. Anyways, so the question is, maybe they've got everything done. They shot their shot. They became a galactic community, and now they're just enjoying. What's up, Maya?
There's a possibility like they are so advanced that a little bit more eldritch, so you don't try to talk with ants. We would be the ants to them. They just
it's true. Maya said, we don't try to talk to ants. They look up at us, and we can affect their whole world easily with bug spray or putting them in a little ant farm. They're probably either just not interested in us, or if they were going to do something to us, they wouldn't ask. They would just do, because
Let's just combine.
they're like bacteria. When you kill a fly, do you think about it? Do you feel bad? Maybe to them, they don't care at all. Maybe we're just a fly. Something that it's still trying to figure its stuff out, but who cares? There's a dime a dozen. But yeah, maybe they are just in this sort of suspended animation, sleep mode, trying to conserve their energy, waiting for the heat death of the universe. And maybe they're working on other stuff. Maybe they're living in these virtual worlds. Maybe they've all combined like giant Marioshka dolls, and kind of like their civilization is like one being, just sort of surviving out until the end of time. This is classically where ideas of the Fermi paradox end, but I posit another one, and that is that we are them. Who's to say that This is the end of Planet of the Apes. Sorry, spoil for those who've not seen it. It's a great movie. But maybe when we look out there, we just see ourselves. I mean, would that really be so hard? I mean, you could think about it in like a very basic sense. That maybe we were seeded. We were a planet seeded by this advanced race that was either dying off or wanted to go elsewhere, and we're continuing themselves, right? That would be probably the more scientific friendly version of this. You also have lithopanspermia, the idea that this building blocks not just themselves, but actual extracellular life lives inside of things like the moon or asteroids or whatever, and that when they do fall to Earth, when you pop out, they may break up a little bit, but maybe that's how life got going so quickly. Would it really be that crazy? And then you have the chrononaut hypothesis, lastly. The idea that maybe if we did look out, it would actually just be us, like actually us from the future. Maybe it is kind of us. Maybe it's like post-humans. Maybe it is, uplifted species like the Vargar from Traveler. Maybe it is robots that we've sent into the future. There's a couple of Skyrim theories about that. But yeah, maybe it is just us. And ironically enough, this would pair pretty well with the rare earth hypothesis, where it's just all us the whole time. Always has been. Guy looking at the moon. Always has been. So yeah, that's the Fermi paradox. But I guess the real question is, well, what do I think? Again, we have an N of 0. It's really difficult to say just about any of this outside of just pure speculation. So instead, I'll go towards what we can say. I think you're a miracle. I think all of you here are a miracle. The fact that we're here having this discussion the way we are is miraculous. And so I think that is worth cherishing. We don't know the difficulty it is to get to us. And until we find out, we have to know that this is our last stand. We have to know that it's up to us to make a difference, up to us to advance ourselves, up to us to spread the beauty of alien life onto what would potentially be a barren universe, as far as we know. If they're out there, they're probably a lot like us. Carl Sagan called it carbon chauvinism. Silicon-based life seems pretty cool, but silicon, again, is a little bit more difficult to arrange in cool structures that are very movable. Granted, Rocky from Project Hail Mary was kind of silicon in a way, but but they're also probably nothing like us. Who knows if they use flappy skin and vocal waves to talk? Who's to say that they don't emit pheromones to talk, or some other crazy way? So in general, looking at all of the answers, it's probably a mixture, honestly. I think the great filter is almost undeniably true. Where it is and how many there are, it's not for us to say. Hopefully we'll figure it out at some point, and hopefully it is behind us. Hopefully we won't have to deal with massive tribulations in our future. But again, that's kind of up to us. But despite all that, please don't lose hope. We are here. There's so much to learn about our system. We don't know if we're alone in our system. Again, could be life on the Jovian moons, could have been life on Mars. There could be life still waiting on Mars, just in a different way. We are so stuck in our own ways and our own manner of thinking, and it's very difficult for us to make these kind of suppositions. But I hope that we are getting out of it. I think with the Artemis 2 mission and all of these missions towards the Jovian moons and expanding outward and maybe to Mars, that galvanize us to actually try to be a good part of the galactic community, to try to be good citizens of the world, to be good neighbors. We have to prepare ourselves, even if they are out there. That's great, but we have to thrive. And if they are, we have to be kind. To leave off, I guess, preemptively on something that Fermi himself said, he said that the history of science and technology has consistently taught us that scientific advances in basic understanding have sooner or later led to technical and industrial applications that revolutionize the way that we live. It seems improbable that this effort of matter should be an exception to this rule of us trying to expand outward. I think it does have a reason, because as we expand, we learn. You know, what is less certain, and what he less fervently hoped, is that man will soon grow sufficiently adult to make good use of those powers that he's acquired over nature. And lastly, I will not read the pale blue dot, but I encourage you to both read and or he recorded a very precious speech after that picture from Voyager 1 was taken. Here you can see the pale blue dot a little bit better in that sunbeam. But I think we owe it to ourselves to be kinder to each other, to treat what we have here as precious. And with that, I'll take any questions you got.
That was really good. Good job.
Tycho for president of
No, please don't. I promise you, you wouldn't want that.
I want that.
Much more qualified people.
Oh, come on.
So how Ben?
I doubt that.
You want more?
Enjoying the soup?
Don't listen to Boris. He's just you don't listen to Boris. He's just crazy.
This Tai time, the hope is to sort of increase scientific advocacy, and then either during the cons or elsewhere, for people who are in their fields and learning more, to share what they know. I know I'm curious, and I know a lot of people here are probably too.
Hey, Upcast. I got a picture you can save. If you want.
Good job, dude.
Otherwise, I'd miss all of this.
What's up, Svino?
Recording.
Something I thought about previously, which I haven't seen anything on before, is the, albeit extremely small probability of
Pretty.
life occurring
You want you can save him?
on a planet in our solar system, but like before our solar system was formed, because a lot of the heavy elements, like basically anything past iron, were formed in super. And as our solar system
Yes.
contains
I'm
those
sorry.
elements,
I'm gonna hand you the microphone so everybody can hear. Go for it.
If you were like ran into the room and like saying,
Thank you, Web.
yeah. So something I've considered previously, which I've seen little to nothing on,
Where's everyone?
is the idea of life, possibly, albeit extremely small probability of it, but possibly existing
Where'd my
in the
picture
solar
go?
system in the location of our solar system before our solar system, as all the elements heavier than iron are formed in supernovae, and as our solar system contains those elements, there would have had to have been a supernovae or large event of a similar nature to occur in the region or a nearby region to our solar system, and so it is possible that there were previous
Hey, Boris.
previous stars. It's possible there would have been also planets, and the planets may have
nice.
although
You wanna save him?
those stars to get the supernovae would have been quite big.
Nice boozle.
Extremely
I have so much useless crap to attach to my avatar already.
I completely agree. That's
You wanna save him?
That's a cool idea. I think it has to. I mean, we have no proof of the otherwise, right? Who's to say that
If you wanna save him, here you go.
is as precious as we claim? That maybe life is out there. Maybe they didn't have time to really evolve the same way. But if panspermia is right, maybe we are products of that. Maybe something happened and ejecta happened, and that part of that life was thrown out, and then during the explosion and reformation that became our star, that we slammed into the earth and suddenly became who we are. So it's a cool idea. I like it. I think the craziest version of that I've heard is Kyrgyzstan from some random paper said that maybe life is like really like old, like the fact that it's like they were looking more on like looking at molecular machinery.
Hey, Upcast, why'd you join so late? What happened? What happened, Upcast? Why'd you join so late?
Considering how mutations happen, and they posited that
because I wasn't in the avali
again,
group.
they're advocates.
Uh,
They're just
then I had to talk to
collaging what they
someone.
learned. that maybe like in the first like billion years of the universe, or 500 even million years of the universe, when it was really hot, that maybe like globules of water past those first stars actually kind of like grew in the globules, and then they froze over, and then that would then slam into planets like Earth, and then maybe we're just life is so old we have no idea. But yeah, that's super cool.
I think I can close my eyes, but I think you want my mouth.
I'm like a, I don't know, this is new. I don't even know anymore.
You just stick the landing? Yes. Oh,
that's wild. That's why. I mean, again, science is always moving forward.
Is this the avali
It's super scary. Because who's to say that stuff that went extinct?
It is.
So
I don't know the avali lore.
No, it is. It is. You could tell from the design on the buildings.
Yeah, but it could be also a planet that's inhabited by avalis too.
I took a sticker, by the way, of everything.
Giant fucking sign at the top of that.
I took a sticker.
I'll let you ask the question, Stan. Thank you, Spino. That's awesome.
No,
Reload, do you have a question?
So loud.
oh my God, Spoos. I'm gonna go over there. It's quieter over there.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
So I kind of think people who want to experience all kinds of forms of the Fermi paradox, you should place 4, especially in the avali style. There's like so many different versions of the Fermi paradox can be experienced there, like beginning of life, take on the grog ship, basically just going through the dark forest here.
No, that's a great point. I mean, if you want to drop it, I can grab it. Yeah, I mean, literally, the avali species comes, the avali or whatever, came from pork. Like, so in a lot of ways, it is our bread and butter to sort of be asking these questions. But yes, I agree. Please play sport. It's very old, very scrungly, an incredibly fun game. Make your fun little scrungly creature and live out the Fermi paradox. Live out those great filters, and then the dark forest at the end as you try to survive.
I rarely present. I don't know my words a lot. I mix them around a lot too much.
Sorry, you're lagging or something. I'm not sure what, but yeah. Okay.
All right, Snow, what do you got?
Make sure I
I think an important lesson we can learn from the fact that we don't see anything is like, what if the most advanced technologies are like, okay, what happens if you take the idea of biomimetic technology and you scale that like outwards to the stars? Like, what does that begin to look like? Like, what if it just so fundamentally uses the natural mechanics of how things sort of like operate astrophysically that it becomes like indistinguishable from nature?
Making my own, and that'll end up being a different design, but yeah.
Hey, Melody.
Yes, the answer is absolutely yes. One thing that's important when I was working on the
Go ahead, Ed.
project, you know, I've tried to keep the lore project as
your fucking things just flat.
I gotta take a sticker.
grounded, at least as it's complete code. Obviously, on top of that, it's only so much
I also
to
have
do.
some pictures up here.
But a lot of that comes from looking at.
Oh, you enjoying one of my pictures I made?
My hope is when
Or both of them, I mean?
is that I want to pick some kind of analog that is already.
This is the first one I did.
can already say, hey, look, it's right there. TP or PNA that can be in a triple helix already exists.
That's the original, but I wanted to do writing, so it's the same one. And down here is the other one.
Actually, can survive in space and survive in radiation.
Man, yoinked it.
Kind of wild. They have a whole bunch of different factors that contribute to that. And I do think, as either in a transhumanist kind of way, that if we can apply these
Here, I
things,
also
that,
took a sticker.
maybe we can survive these larger vacuums of space.
I think you're also in it.
By what we learn,
Yeah, you are. There you are.
from these terrestrial beings that have been able to do it. good, and then from maybe what we can find on like how atoms themselves.
Yeah,
sort
see,
of,
there you are, right there.
Arrange themselves. That maybe we can then use that as a basis. Like look at like
I'm gonna add you. You seem chill. I like you.
which is
I'm gonna
basically
add you.
just almost 100% air. Like it's actually pretty easy to make. It's brittle, but my God, like all that was is just letting a goo kind
It's
of.
nice. I've seen a lot of volleys though.
Is wildly cool. So I think you're 100% right. I think you're 100% right. What about you, Zai? You have a question?
Yeah, listen to your friend request. You seem chill.
Zai's just chilling. What about you, Mr. Mage? You got a question?
Creature change. Never mind.
Just enjoying the listening.
Why is my head not? Why is my head not moving? I just realized that. What the heck?
It's always a struggle, but it's the.
Here, I may change and.
It will become better.
Here, wait, let me fix it. Let me switch to this and switch back.
Given your research on the topic and everything, say
Yes, I got a little gremlin. There we go. My head has actually moved now. I'm no longer a stiff.
You know, we haven't found anything, but we could come across a race that is kind of like us as we are today. You know, would you be for or against, like,
Boop.
or contact with them?
You know what that means?
That's a great question.
Boop. Tongue. You stuck out your tongue. Fish?
Joke's on you. I'm in excess overlay.
You know what's really disappointing? Rats has been removed.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it has been the nature of science fiction to answer questions like this quite a lot. I think to Star Trek, like the Prime Directive, that
Heck
there's
yeah.
sort of a non-interference kind of zoo hypothesis going there, right? That if you do run into them, it's your duty to let them be, let them exist. But if you watch Star Trek, especially like TNG or
I guess you don't talk
Universal
much.
series somewhat, you'll find
I
that
guess you
that's
don't
the
talk
thing that
much.
they struggle with the most, and often they will just do it.
I guess you don't
Just
talk
do it.
much.
Like when you see small creatures, small livings dying. I mean, lemmings didn't actually throw themselves off cliffs; that was staged. But you know what I mean. If you have these creatures that are self-destructive, and you feel like you,
I like your volley though. Looks nice.
inevitably are going to come and save them from themselves, is it
Looks
your right
nice.
to do so? That's a deep philosophical question, and I think it probably depends on a lot of different questions. So, from your hypothesis here, let's say that
Here, wait. The friend request did go through, right?
and we do find them,
Yeah, it did.
and we are more
Wait, we have a
advanced than them,
mutual?
and
Wait,
they
who's our
are
mutual?
experiencing a great.
Oh, it's just a group. Never mind.
Honestly, I can't see in my own morality anyway not to
Mhm.
help them.
But you don't have to, but
As
I
much
hope,
as
I hope
that
you add
they,
me because I'm trying to get. I have a whole group for a volley
sadness
friends.
that comes along with them, like them being
Volleys are my favorite
second-class
characters.
species in a galactic civilization.
I'm actually getting my own custom volley made for free soon.
It's a quandary, absolutely. Like
I drew out my own
we
design on
say that
paper.
We're supposed to prevent them from their own destruction, but I think, especially like that, I think personally, like we would be doing a great disservice by letting them die. I think
You have like a
hopefully we
tech
can
suit on.
try our
I
best
like
to
that.
get them into the community, but otherwise, yeah.
Looks cool.
Now, given this sort of hypothesis,
That's cool. That is cool.
I think like our nature being
Man, mine's nowhere near that cool.
Like if it was like the first, like we've been searching for.
That. Not to lie, this is the best of volley skin I get, or avatar I could find. I don't know where to go to find any good ones. Or this one is good, just like any like really advanced ones like that.
I'm gonna borrow from the one Planet 51 movie. And it's like, yeah, they're like in essentially our 1960s. You know. Yeah, that's a funny movie. But you know, yeah.
Oh, thanks. Well, people sometimes say it's not, but most of the time they don't like avali, so I guess that's true.
I think if we're at that point where it's like, we haven't found anything, I think
I even have
humanity
glow
would
sticks.
do it just for the fact that like we want to be, we want friends.
And a sword.
And then as more species are found, it would probably get to the point where it's like, okay, hold off.
I also got a built-in pin.
Like that bar kind of slides, the less lonely you are. That's my theory.
Okay, wait. I might able to change the color and the width.
Incredibly great point. I'm going to wear my anthropological hat here, more officially my training. But I do know that
Crop top.
culture does change over time and between cultures. So at this moment, I can say that probably
I like
because
this
we haven't
avatar.
found anything, that it makes a lot of sense for us to feel that way.
I got shorts. Oh,
At that
damn.
point, life is incredibly
I forgot this thing had
precious,
shorts.
and even another instance of it probably should be preserved to some extent. I also know that cultural aspects change constantly. The way that we talk changes constantly. I use different terms, or
I'm gonna save the shorts for night now.
or we have different even things that we
Okay,
consider
what is
proper
this?
or distinct. It's hard to
What's
say
the
that if
jacket?
we get to that point that maybe we have been diluted by our own technology, diluted to the point. And I say diluted in a little bit of a derogatory way, of like, who's to say that our priorities aren't different at that point? Maybe we find them as like a pure.
I don't know. One of my friends gave me this. Oh, sorry. I think it goes. I'm making my own textures for my own that he's gonna make.
It's kind of crazy. Also, did you
I
want to
draw
say
the
that?
color I want, the wing design I want, the arm design, the waist design. I just don't have the skill to do the head or the feet, so he's just gonna get a default head and feet.
I also think it
The head is too complex.
We wouldn't try to mess up their story, with their
Man, that avali down there is scary.
we
The
would
hawk
try to
stone.
save them. If something
Hawk
was happening
stone.
that would leave that
That one's
life
scary.
to extinction, I think we would, yes, do something. But that's
But yeah, I guess you don't
reminds me
talk.
of the episode on Star Trek,
Huh.
where another not that developed species enters and asks for the
Man, I just
replicator
love the color design
of
of
the
your
ship.
avatar. It's just so
And the captain
cool.
doesn't give it because the important
Like,
part is not the technology.
I like like really why I like it. It mixes yellow and purple together.
People can use
Like one of my
that
two favorite
for the
colors.
better good, and not for selfish desires. That like today we would do. I don't believe in humanities today to not exploit.
D&D, but Dungeons and Dragons. It's
Yeah, wait. Let me look at this real quick.
There's an amazing story I can recommend online. If you like kind of more, especially like the genetics kind of stories.
Just give me a second.
There's one that's really long. It's called Just One Drop. Net narrator is doing.
I also got these emojis.
Audiobook of it. And it's really good. But at the very start, this race of aliens finds
This one
Earth,
too.
and it's geez, see Brexit,
And
and they're like, let's go in and orbitally nuke every military installation,
Hello, guys.
every group on the planet, and then
Trying to
just
make a
come
new
in.
friend away.
We're gonna occupy y'all and give y'all a bunch of tech and medical stuff. But yeah, sorry for nuking all your military bases.
Yeah, he's technically my boss. I'm a moderator and he's the head of staff. He's technically my boss.
I'll answer that in a second. What's up, Doro? Oh, you want the mic?
I'm basically HR for the group, so I have to make sure they are okay and make sure how they're trained.
I think I still have my moderator tagline, right? Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you still do.
I forgot I had my
tag on.
there. Yeah, I always have mine on. Just remember in our furry hideout server, people are like, wait, are you moderator here or no?
Maybe they had
Boop.
like a laser pointer and
Boop
they
boop boop
send
boop boop boop
information
boop
on
boop
one
boop
unit
boop
comes to.
boop
So
boop
maybe
boop 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 boop
did
boop
that.
boop da
And that's
da
how
boop.
you
You're right. Are you hungry? Here, open
I
wide.
think of Douglas Adams. I
Give you
think
some
of
bees.
Hitchhiker's Guide, where like
I'm gonna give you a
you'd
snack.
have dolphins
Bees.
before it got blown up for an interstellar space highway, and then also
Ready for your dinner?
what Ford landed on the planet and thought that
Oh,
cars
me?
were
Okay.
the intelligent species because they moved so much. Tried to shake hands with a car. So, who's to say?
That was an experience.
I don't know.
So for the record, I noticed a reference you did one of the slides. It's my pump.
You sound like you're high.
Yeah, Project Hail Mary.
No, I'm overstimulated.
I got a gun.
I'm visiting your bum. Oh no, bee.
Not the bee.
Bee. Alright, here you go, Stan. Sorry.
What's the difference between the combine and cancer treatment?
Oh, it's found behind you.
Okay, between the combine and cancer treatment.
Oh, my flesh water!
Sorry, go ahead.
Since the thing about combine that it kind of treats planets as more like an organism, similarly how like you treat.
Did Boris die?
One big entity.
Boris went AFK.
So therefore, sometimes you make sacrifice, and cancer treatment is usually one of those things that kills a lot of cells and puts you into huge danger of getting destroyed.
Hello.
While it will destroy a lot of individual cells,
You're a tall volley.
will help the bigger entity. While it's a little
Taller
bit
volley.
dangerous to say that the combine is like
Why
such
are you so
a
tall?
entity, but I think it can be like a very
Because I ate my veggies.
Where do you
I
draw
like the
line?
design.
Like you prioritize a couple of cells which might
I like the
make
design.
damage in like a big ecosystem versus where you just maybe a couple of you will die, but I will allow it.
I just want to say I was the one that turned off ITIS because we forgot to turn it off for the instance. It just says, the way that we instance rule, you did nothing wrong, and keep about that. The optimal way to go about it, like there's it's just in the recent researcher that rule when the items needs to be turned off sadly. It's kind of
I still have one legal right. I can still do these.
Cell signaling problem. So fine. The questions
are
fine. Like how
Yeah, I know.
those are fine.
Yeah, but too. Also this one.
Many groups has to say
It has very human proportions.
Oh, you also have it, dang it.
That's actually an incredibly interesting point that you bring. About so Sandra point is like who's to say that we aren't the cancer?
Are those the only two you have?
The Matrix says, we're a virus on this planet, and we're a virus in general, and he's the cure. Like, who's to say that
just
there
means that they're
isn't something?
confused.
Damn.
I like it either way.
Hey, Sonny. Hey, Sonny.
Yeah.
No.
Issues with their setups.
What stuck out to me in the Sierra game was that there was a
You have any more emojis?
Me? Yep. I have that one.
I mean, you're not incredibly wrong.
Where?
Think of it
Oh.
like,
Man, give me it. Give me it.
I have this one.
Okay.
I think of a lot of like the anthropocentrism of all of this, right? We think that we're the apex of what life is, but maybe in a lot of ways,
I made that one.
what we do is
Why is that building like a big sword?
and maybe there may be aspects, maybe us as a whole isn't harmful, but
That building looks like a big sword.
in some ways to become harmful.
I don't know.
Whether that is
Maybe it is.
that we see the destruction of the planet and how we see it. Maybe it is.
Man, you gotta send me one of those.
And treat other things
At least the one you
around
just
us.
did. Man, send me the one you just did. Yeah, give me that.
Actually, in a more cosmic
I'm trying to get some avali stickers. Oh, you did? Oh, I like
Why
it.
do you have all of your stats above your head? I don't need to know your stats.
Oh, I did so I can look above my head, see if I'm maxing out and stuff tonight. Because there's a lot of people here earlier.
Everyone else has like you're blocking my entire view of everyone else behind you because it's there.
Sorry.
You have to turn off your chat box.
Gotta turn it off.
Right?
They are the only things that should exist.
I don't need it anymore, so I'm just gonna turn it off.
Which, you know, has some entitlement to it, but maybe they
How do I get to my inventory?
They put themselves right.
Sorry, I'm trying to get this for you.
I don't have a question. I'm just here to say thank you for the panel. It was very awesome. You're very lovely, and it was very nice. It was very fun to listen to. And you had an awesome.
Where do I find it? I don't even know where this. All friends, all instance. That's not it. Groups, no. VRC plus. No.
You don't.
Freaking inventory.
Oh, here I know how.
Open your little menu, and you're gonna see like a chest. Okay, you're gonna see like on the top right your little V-Bucks, and then you're gonna see like a chat box with a like a little exclamation point, and then you're gonna see like a chest right next to it. Yeah, the chest.
Got it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Now on the left, you'll see all the fun stuff: cosmetic items, stickers, emojis, icons.
Here I go. I will make it.
That's more about like futurism, but like science grounded.
No, damn it.
It's not like science fiction as like Star Wars, but more like.
Here, I'll give you the one because you need to have that one.
If that actually could happen and what kind of implications could that?
Wait, which one?
So like Fermi paradox.
Oh, I have that one.
These things are happening on both channels, but
Yeah, that was one of the ones I played.
And the implication of that is more like science and futurism with Isaac Harper. So
okay, well then you want.
Channels are absolutely awesome.
You want the bird rotating one?
Yeah, that was funny. Also, the last one with the logo.
Bayo, do you have a question or no? I see you sitting there. I just want to make sure you're not.
Oh, I was talking about the bird one, like with how it was changing, like where it kept going to a big one and a small one. That's also the one I have. Oh wait, wrong one. Oh, I don't know what this means.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Oh, I do have it. Never mind. I didn't realize I did have it. I just realized I did have it. Oh, I feel dumb now.
The books and the series. That's a good example of that.
So you made the logo when you did? That was cool.
Yeah, the logo one's super easy to make. I just literally got that off the internet.
Yeah, I don't know how to make. I don't know how to do that stuff.
It's really awesome.
Oh, you can learn it. It's not hard.
I just know that there's a lot of interest in the community, and there's a lot of different people that do a lot of different things. I mean, we saw what Dolan did, and that was super cool. So I just want to uplift the people that do cool things and make sure that they get an opportunity to make sure those cool things are seen. Because a lot of what we do is in private, and it can be disheartening when we put all this work into stuff that it won't see. And so, you know, I want to make sure that that advocacy exists, and I think that we could make a community that makes stuff like that happen. So that's what I'm trying to advocate for with myself. Yeah.
I don't think detailed for one as well.
Hey, is it working? I don't see it.
I put it there. What do you mean?
Yeah, no, I'm playing it.
Now?
Oh no, I said I'm playing it. Is it working? Can you see it? Can you see it?
Not at the moment.
Here, let me try re-adding it. Okay, stickers, add. Yeah, I'm playing it, but it ain't working. I don't know why. These work.
Fair enough.
I saw that.
Emperor's Children to Ultramarines. Nice. Good choices.
Then I have these custom Marines too.
I agree. I mean, interact with YouTube is going to be the forefront of like science advocacy anyway.
I didn't mean to play that sticker. I meant to play something else.
That it almost doesn't matter. Find one that resonates with you. Yes, they're not all created equal. Some are more rigorous than others. Yes. But
Whoa, where'd that come from?
Yes, find one that resonates with you. And
How dare you,
Any
Boris?
melee weapons, you're lucky.
be ferociously.
You should get some.
I think that's
Hello.
I gotta go see if anyone
What?
All I can
Bad
do
boy.
is this. That's all I can do. Damn you, it's all I can do. I'm not
Lucky I can't shoot any of my guns because they're so fucking loud.
Dude, like, yeah, I have a suppressor, bitch. Fuck
Yeah, I don't got a suppressor because I don't need to be a little bitch about it.
Crazy. You okay?
Yeah.
Hey, Melody.
I think.
Sorry if I overwhelmed you, or if I helped.
No.
You okay, Melody?
We're fine. Yeah, just a little overstimulated. A lot of voices. Even with the M-off mode.
Rave? That's gonna hurt.
Boop.
Yeah,
No,
I
boop.
had to turn the people down that had the microphone.
So calm. So calm. Look how calm this place is. Look
Boop,
how
boop, 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 boop,
yeah,
boop,
her
boop.
quest map too.
Oh yeah. Also.
Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah.
Wait, we can go outside. Wait, we can go outside the map. Outcast is one outside the map. Damn, Madden falling, Boris.
There's an easier way. There's an easier way.
I do.
Yeah. The easier way is just go out the wall that you came in.
We're in the world now. Oh wow, you
One thing I will say before people actually do leave, as a sort of form of announcement, I know it's not super formal, but so the whole reason I picked the Fermi paradox is because I did vote. We had a vote in Roundtable about this. So for the ones that I put on, unless there is some kind of super special interest or it's specific to the actual lore.
Oh my god.
I do.
Did they forget to add colliders?
Between a couple of different things.
It's intentional.
It's like
it's so that people can.
Is this
so people can come outside.
Is this like Hogwarts?
We're interested in having multiple people.
Well, you can go in like.
This is like Hogwarts.
Not just the same person cycling over and over and over again. That might get a little boring. You know, I may know a lot of things, but it doesn't mean that. There's lots of people that are
under the seat.
interested in things.
Oh, I'm under your butt. Oh, now I'm above.
Okay. Voting, by the way,
Hey,
is
Spoozer.
very good.
Where you going,
consensus
Spoozer?
infrastructure.
Where you going, Spoozer?
Beyond the veil.
It's the little upcast. Where is he going? No one knows.
Just don't go down here.
Why? What happened? What happens?
You immediately go down there.
Down here is fine. No, you can't go down here. Don't go down here.
I'll go down there.
Down where?
Down here. Down here.
Down where?
Don't go down here.
Down the where? Up there? Up here? Up where?
Don't go down here.
Man, I'm gonna add the guy saying don't go down here. I'm gonna add him.
Don't go down there. Don't go down there.
Hey, Spirit, I dare. No, Spirit. Spoozle, I dare. Spoozle, I dare you. I dare you.
Don't go down there. Don't
That's-
go down there. Don't do it.
Tell us what
Don't
happens.
do it.
Tell us what happens.
Don't do it. Don't do it. No, you went down there. No. No.
What happens?
See, then.
Oh.
Well, they went down there. I told them not to go down there. You shouldn't go down there. Don't go down there.
That building looks like a big sword.
Like, don't do this.
Whee! Man, we're birds that can't fly.
I told you not to go down there.
We're birds that can't fly. That's wild.
Drenched in sweat right now. I'm in a temperate room with a bunch of water. There's no reason I should be.
Man, cool down. Turn the AC on, brother. Turn the AC on.
The AC's on. I ambulate a lot. I
Turn it on higher.
And I
Turn it on higher.
and I get nervous and I stammer and
You should talk more. If you will do enough panel in front of a lot of people, it will get much better.
yeah, probably. Well, maybe tell Coleman that, huh?
Look at you, look at me with the silly topic of the head petting and yeah, but what could go
Y'all did
wrong?
a good thing tonight.
Thank you. That means a lot. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go work on that manuscript I gotta work on for my thesis because it's due this week. So, but what's up, Sam?
You deserve a big thumbs up for using the presentation as it has been invented. So it's not like your script.
I'm gonna add you, man.
A way too large screen for you, but like you're using it as like a visual material.
You too.
I don't think I've seen you. Yeah, thank you. That means a lot.
Since 2019.
Yeah, I had nothing to do content on, so I mainly just was recording this whole time.
Cool. Hope you enjoy it. I love your colors, by the way. A bird
Thanks.
after my own heart.
Yay.
Hey Tycho. Tycho.
What's up, Affinity? What?
That was completely average, and you should feel average. And I am average for telling you how average you are.
Yes, let's go. I'm okay with feeling average.
Yeah. No, it was slightly above.
Hey, dude, I added you.
I will take that.
I added you, blue one. I added the blue one.
Well, then next time I see you, then maybe we will be friends. That's
Well, if you're friends with Sonny and stuff like that, I might be seeing you again.
IRL as like similar sound like this.
Yeah, 100%. So,
have you ever done multi-display power?
We have 5 mutuals, friends.
I don't think so.
Hey Tycho. Where's the mic?
The mic is being filleted down there, I think. Here it is. Here you go, Ember.
I need to put on my other headset. I'll be
Yeah, our mutuals is what's our mutuals? Wait a minute. Our mutuals is Dashy, Techno, and Dragonfire.
Attention. To stand in the audience. To stand in the audience now.
I'm dropping a portal to the instance for the DJ set replays right now. We should be getting started with that shortly. Oh my god, hold up, I can't drop it. Okay, there you go. Portal for DJ set replay should be starting, I want to say on 45.
It's a built-in feature into every projection software.
I'm gonna go there. You did a good thing tonight. Good job.
Does it even in like Google Meet?
It means a lot.
Have a nice night and have good dreams.
Ladies and gentlemen, please
See
proceed
ya.
to the base portal. Thank you.
See you, Ember. Hey, see you, Ember.
Pretty fire.
Y'all did a good thing tonight.
Bye bye.
I said y'all did good tonight. I really liked it.
Please mind the closing doors. Next stop.
Your mother's house. Mom! Epilepsy warning. What are y'all doing? I like how when I said, what are y'all doing, to start downpouring outside. It started downpouring when I said, what are y'all doing?
Okay, I'm going inside now.
What do you click on it? How do you, oh. It's the Boreos.
It's the same.
Okay.
Down below. Ba-da-dum.
Okay, I'll gear up for my set, so I will be here for on stage.
Okay.
For my set.
Where?
Where?
Oh, am I gonna have to run? Okay, Empa.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, let me know when you've entered the URL.
I can't wait to see what we were able to record of that set.
Oh, the whole thing on there.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I haven't.
Are you talking about the whole presentation thing?
45.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I record the
like,
whole thing on
technical
YouTube.
errors and people forgot to hit record and other kinds of issues with the.
I record the whole thing
DJ
on
sets.
YouTube.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
I'm actually still recording, but here, let me end it.
So I'm gonna have to
Stop
start
it.
the VRC cacher.
Let me go ahead and end it since the presentation.
Do I?
They fixed that avali.